Very soon, Yooka-Laylee will be getting a bunch of tweaks and fixes in the form of the Spit and Polish update. I thought that before that happens, let's look at some fun glitches. I'm DPadGamer, and it's time for glitches in Yooka-Laylee. Starting off near the beginning of the game, here's something useful. If you'd like to skip the tutorial, just jump past this blockade. Usually, trying to run over it makes Yooka slide back down. If you instead jump twice and immediately attack midair, you'll get right over it. Throughout the games are platforms like this one which will move if the dynamic duo are standing on them. Well, this one in particular is interesting. If you stand just on the very edge of it, this happens. Still in Ivory Towers, to cross this bridge, Yooka is supposed to slurp up a cannonball. Instead, you could just not do that. If you jump with a small wooden pole and attack as you move forward, Yooka and Laylee will momentarily float through the air. As long as you're spinning, you won't fall down. Jump out of the spin, jump again, and aerial attack to get as much distance as possible. This allows you to open the shortcut back to Travel Stack Tropics a bit earlier than usual. While on your way to Travel Stack Tropics for the first time, there will be a cutscene right here in which a pagey will introduce the Grand Tomb. If you trigger the cutscene while standing against either the left or right wall, when it ends, you'll be out of bounds. In a speedrun, this along with some other glitches allow you to beat the game in as low as 30 minutes. However, I'd like to do something different. Since I'm playing on PC, I added the save file so that all moves are available, which means that we can explore the great outside. Aside from the awesome perspective that we can get from out here, we can see that Shipwreck Creek is actually loaded in at the same time as the first floor of Ivory Towers. This is functionally the same creek you usually find yourself in, but since we never went through a loading zone, the lighting and skybox are incorrect. It looks very weird. There's a glitch specific to the PS4 version of the game that allows you to clip through just about any wall or door. All you need to do is reptile roll towards a wall and press pause repeatedly. I don't actually own the PS4 version of this game, but thanks to Pewable, we can see the madness at work. Finally moving on to Travel Stack Tropics, here's something neat. After flooding and freezing the canal, head over here. Due to what I can only assume is an accidental oversight, there is a gap between the ice and the rocks in which you can easily slip through. From here, make your way under the ice all the way over to the underwater section. This section is supposed to be filled with water, requiring the Bubble Buddy ability to interact with the buttons and click the pagey. Since there's no water, we can collect the pagey at our leisure, but leaving requires either the ability to fly, or we gotta return to the hub through the pause menu. This level has another oversight, or I guess an undersight. Let's fly off the ledge and descend a bit. Since there's no underside to the rocky terrain to block our view, we can see through the entire world. Capital Casino is home to a couple interesting glitches. This is the exit slide for a nearby puzzle. Press L to crouch and keep it held down. Take flight and head towards the opening. As you near the slide right about here, press A to gain altitude. The goal is to land with a bit of forward momentum, which slides you just past the automatic door. Since you held the crouch button, you're still crouching, which means you're not sliding, and that means you're free to fly away out of bounds. We can see that none of the rooms connected to the main room are loaded, but the collectibles are, so have fun. The other huge glitch in this world requires the helicopter transformation. I actually already covered this glitch in its own separate video a while back, so check out that one for a more detailed look. But in short, here's how it's done. First, transform into the helicopter and start the mission with this Knight of Hamelot. Head over to the power grid room and wait for the timer to run out. When you're brought back to the main room, most of the terrain will be unloaded. Since you're a helicopter, you're free to collect everything you want without falling into the void. Sometimes, you can find yourself in odd places completely by accident. While wandering around Galleon Galaxy, I fell into this crack. Unfortunately, spots like this can be found all over the place where you and Laylee just fall forever. This one in particular is very scary because there was literally no escape.
This marks 24 hours of being stuck.
So the labyrinth maze thing found in Moody Maze Marsh has some issues. Not only are the electrified moving blocks unreasonably deadly, they're also pretty glitchy. First off, you can get stuck in the maze by doing almost nothing. If you stay still curled up in various corners, things like this can happen. The duo of course got hit, but the game didn't actually consider them crushed, so they didn't die. Since the block moved past and the duo stayed behind, there is nowhere to go. No escape, except going back to the hub. You can also get pushed through this gap in the blocks with a similar method. This ruins the maze, though we can still escape. If we return to the entrance, we'll find that the door has been closed, but that doesn't stop us from exploring. After a bit, I ended up moving away from the maze and coming back to find that things have been fixed. Back in this spot, you can also get pushed out. Once you touch the grass, when you exit the area of the maze, it'll be reset. Usually this is done off-screen. Speaking of off-screen, I ran into something very bizarre. While trying to get stuck in the maze, this happened instead. I got pushed through the blocks while also dying, but the game never came back from the black screen. This is very, very weird. As it was happening, I pulled out my phone and pointed it at the screen. I know it's not that great of recording, but I wanted to make it clear that this is legit. I was mashing buttons and I could tell a few things based off the sounds. First, the duo respawned since you could hear their health refill, and they could run around and attack like normal. I'm pretty sure they were back at the entrance, because after moving backwards and jumping, I ended up in water. The other weird thing, apart from the obvious lack of any visuals, was that the pause menu wasn't working. If anyone has experienced this as well, or possibly knows the exact cause, let me know in the comments below. Moving on to Glitter Glazed Glacier, I encountered these bushes that will shake violently when Yooka touches them. Aww, they seem cold. Shortly after, I noticed something neat. If you run, crouch, and start flying, you can slide off a ledge during the wind-up animation. It doesn't actually do that much other than start your flight much lower than if you hadn't slid off the edge in the first place. It's possibly helpful in a time trial, I suppose. You can also slide off into the water and still fly, though this is even more useless. Jumping back over to Galleon Galaxy, because I like doing things out of order, we have a few neat glitches. On the bridge of the Grand Tomb, ground pounding the edge somewhere around here can make this happen. Much like toxic sludge and swamp water, the sparkling water found in this world will deal damage to the duo if they touch it. Usually, this means that swimming in it is impossible. You might be surprised to know that you can actually dive underwater if you take damage and immediately jump at ground pound. You'll get a few feet down, but the game will force you to swim upwards. If you position yourself under something like a large boulder, you too can drown where you're not supposed to. So real quick, minor spoilers. When you reach this point in the game, Capital B will refuse to let the duo continue and fight him unless they have collected 100 pages. If you've been paying attention, you'll guess what I'm about to say. Let's just skip past that. If you were playing the PS4 version, you could just reptile roll straight through the side entrance, but there's another method that currently works on all versions. It can be started over here. Line yourself up just about here and jump into the toxic sludge. Right after taking damage, jump at ground pound while moving against a wall. You'll slide right through the wall. It's surprisingly easy. The camera's still stuck in bounds though, so we gotta jump and flutter away from the sludge and come back, which should fix the camera. Move over to this still beam and jump twice. That should pop Yooka onto the solid ground again, and we're out of bounds. From here, we could take flight and explore like earlier, but the primary goal is to head over to the elevator, so follow the path that you see here on screen. Once you're here, success. You can now beat the game without having 100 pages. Now, I think I'll just show off some of the exploring I did using this out of bounds glitch. Enjoy! Thanks for watching, and as always, thanks to my patrons who help make these videos possible. I have many Banjo-Kazooie videos, so check those out if you're interested. Be sure to leave a like if you enjoyed the video, and comment below and let me know if there's anything I missed. That's about it for this one. I'll see you next time.